The dust in the high desert of the Sundance Valley tasted like chalk and defiance. It was a flavor I'd grown up with, one my grandfather swore built character. He'd built the rocking our ranch with that same grit, and now I was the one holding the line. The problem wasn't the drought or the cattle prices. It was the gleaming, soulless development that had sprouted on my southern border, Sundance Oaks, complete with a manicured golf course and an HOA president named Karen Whitlock. The trouble started with the gate. A simple, 5-barred pine gate that marked the entrance to my private access road, which led to the back 40 and the old creek crossing. To Karen and her board, that road was a community easement, a supposed right-of-way to a scenic overlook they'd somehow included in their property deeds. There was no such easement in my title, a document dating back to 1912. The first time I found the gate smashed, the heavy pine beam hanging by a single twisted hinge, I was furious. I found tire tracks not from a truck with good, honest mud on it, but the low-profile, aggressive tread of a luxury SUV. I knew instantly who it was. I confronted Karen at the next HOA meeting, held in their sterile clubhouse. She was a woman in her late 50s, with a helmet of blonde hair and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Mr. Evans," she said, her voice syrupy with fake sympathy. "That old gate is a hazard. It doesn't meet community safety standards. Our residents have a right to access the overlook." "It's my gate on my land," I said, my voice low. "You don't have a right to break it." She just waved a dismissive hand. "We have the paperwork, and we've filed a complaint about the unsightly debris. You'll be receiving a fine." The fines started piling up. For the damaged gate, for unpermitted structure, for creating a nuisance. They were laughable, but the threats of liens weren't. They sent certified letters, their lawyer's letterhead as crisp and intimidating as Karen's polo shirts. I repaired the gate with heavier timber. They drove through it again. This time it was Karen herself in her white Lexus GX. I saw her do it, a smug smirk on her face as the splintered wood clattered under her chassis. She didn't even slow down. I went to the county sheriff, a good man named Miller. He sighed. "It's a civil matter, Hank. Your word against theirs about the easement. I can't post a deputy out here 24/7. That's when the anger cooled, hardening into something else. A cold, calculated resolve. They thought this was a battle of lawyers and paperwork. I was about to teach them it was a battle of physics. I stopped repairing the gate. For 2 weeks, I let the broken beams lie, a silent admission of defeat. I saw the triumphant looks from the Sundance Oaks residents when they drove by. Karen's smile was wider than ever. What they didn't see was the delivery trucks arriving under the cover of night. They didn't see me and my old ranch hand, Luis, digging under the starlight. We didn't build another wooden gate. We built a trap. We sank 2 4-inch square, 1/2-inch thick steel posts 3 feet into concrete-filled holes on either side of the road. They were pristine, painted a dull black, and looked almost decorative. Into the top of each post, we welded a heavy, greased steel hinge. Then we fabricated the gate itself. It wasn't wood. It was a single solid sheet of 3/8-inch steel plate, 8 feet wide and 5 feet high, framed with more square steel tubing. It weighed just over 600 pounds. The beauty was in the mechanism. It swung freely and easily on those heavy hinges. To the casual glance, especially from the interior of a tall SUV, it looked like any other open gate. But when closed, it would be an immovable wall of steel, locked into place with a heavy crossbar that slid into sleeves on the posts. We left it open, swung back against the fence line, invisible in the scrub brush. We waited. Took 3 days. I was mending a fence about 100 yards away when I saw the familiar white Lexus come bouncing down the Sundance Oaks Road towards my property line. Karen was driving, and I could see her talking animatedly to another woman in the passenger seat, probably giving her the grand tour of the land she was effectively stealing. She didn't even tap the brakes. She cruised right onto my access road, aiming for the open gateway. The front tires hit the cattle guard I'd installed just for this moment. A loud, clattering announcement. The sound made me look up. I leaned against the fence post, pulled out my phone, and started recording. The Lexus's front end disappeared into the gate's path for a split second. Then came the sound. It wasn't a crash of splintering wood. It was a sickening, metallic crunch SRECH of German engineering meeting American steel. The entire SUV shuddered to a dead stop, as if it had hit a bank vault. The rear wheels dug into the dirt, kicking up a cloud of dust. The sleek hood crumpled like a beer can, the radiator hissed, and pieces of plastic and chrome skittered across the ground. I kept filming as the driver's door swung open. Karen stumbled out, her face a mask of shock and fury. Her perfect hair was askew. She stared, dumbfounded, at the immovable steel plate that had just totaled her car. "What is this?" she shrieked, her voice cutting through the desert silence. I walked over slowly, phone still raised. "That," I said calmly, "is my new gate. It's rated for containing bulls. Apparently it works on Lexuses, too." Her eyes bulged. "You did this on purpose. This is a trap. I'll sue you for everything you have." "Go ahead," I said, gesturing with the phone. "But first, you're under arrest for criminal trespass and destruction of private property." Again, I nodded toward the road, where Sheriff Miller's truck was already pulling up, dust plume trailing behind him. Louise had made the call the second we saw her turn in. Karen spluttered, pointing a shaking finger at the gate. "We have an easement. It's in our deeds." Sheriff Miller tipped his hat as he walked up. "Morning, Karen." "Hank." He looked at the wrecked Lexus, then at the pristine steel gate, and a slow grin spread across his face. "Well now, that's one heck of a gate, Hank." "It's on my property, Sheriff," I said. "And as for that easement," I reached into my back pocket and pulled out a folded letter from the county recorder's office. I had the county do a full historical survey. The original plat for Sundance Oaks shows a proposed easement. Keyword: proposed. It was never signed off on by any of the original landowners. My grandfather refused in 2004. Your developer just hoped no one would notice. The color drained from Karen's face. She looked from the sheriff to the steel gate to the letter in my hand. The smugness was gone, replaced by the pale, hollow look of someone who has just realized they've not only lost, but they've been a fool the entire time. The HOA dropped all the fines. They paid for the cost of my new steel gate, and then some to avoid a massive lawsuit from me. Karen resigned from the board and, I heard, moved away shortly after. The steel gate still stands today, swinging open easily for friends and closed firmly against those who would take what isn't theirs. Sometimes the old ways, strong steel, clear titles, and a little country cunning, are the only things that can stand up to a modern kind of tyranny. And sometimes the most satisfying sound in the world is the crunch of entitlement meeting an immovable object.